call them the Froverse, because there's so many little, like, even the characters you and Luke use with Grandpa and then Mario and Luigi stuff, we found a way to work it into American Fro, and we started creating our own characters with American Fro, so it's got, like, a shared universe.
Villains that we created and stuff like that, but, like...
We even wrote in a Mario gag in American Fro Begins.
Yeah.
And, like, I had to jump over something, and then, like, show up as Mario. This is how you do it! And then, like, you do it, and then, like, a little cheeky little thing of what we've done, so... Yeah. Sad day, American Fro Begins isn't happening when we want it, but, you know.
Man, perfection needs time.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. Is there any idea that you had that we didn't do, or that we wanted to do that?
I always wanted, like, what was that one that I can't remember the name. It was when we had suits, and we were like pretty much. Was it Suckers? Or Suckers.
Vacuum salesman.
And that, like, the little scenes we did of that were pretty funny.
Completely improvised.
Yeah, and which I wish we would have done a little bit more.
I wish, we would have done that. That would have been.
If we had got Luke into that more too, and like got more people, different places to film and stuff, I think that would have been really a lot more fun.
I think the big problem is, and you make fun of me for it, but we get very ambitious with these ideas and things we want to do, but we never do them, and we never fit in time to do them, and then things just happen. So I mean. Yeah. And that's why we love American Fro so much.
Yeah, because we just had that time.
I would love to do a Living the Dream episode, just with a phone or something, randomly. Because watching it then and watching it now, how much we've changed since then, would be crazy. So, let's talk a little Van Halen. David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
David.
Why?
I like David because, well, first, I just dance a lot better to his songs. I feel.
Dancing that away.
I vibe to his songs better. I don't know, I just like the party style of him more. But then again, I really like Sammy too. Sammy Hagar's like solo stuff and everything was a lot better than David Lee Roth's.
Yeah, well,
I mean, even
that's because David Lee Roth isn't a very good singer. Yeah. Like, if you go back and you listen to those Van Halen stuff, he's not the best singer.
Yeah, oh yeah. But then again, Sammy Hagar with Van Halen was freaking awesome too. But I don't know. I just like David a lot more. Well, not a lot more, but I liked him a little bit more.
I think I love Van Halen so much because your dad was a huge Van Halen fan, and it kind of bestowed that mantle to you when you were growing up. And so we would always listen to Van Halen when we were together. So every time I think of Van Halen, I think of you, and I just think of all the stupid stuff we did, like listening to Van Halen and like Kiss, where we would act like we're, you know, rocking out with like a broomstick or something stupid like that. And which brings me to this: we were inspired to do a band. Never did it because we never learned any instruments ever. But I'm gonna run down some names and see if you remember, and maybe you'll remember some and throw them at me. I forgot about that. First one, and we had a thing with alliteration back then. Yeah. First one, Rampage Revolution.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which I loved and you loved, and then you hated it. You're like, it's too punk, man. It's not our style. I was like, what style do we have? We don't even have instruments.
And then I was like trying to cut it down. I was like, we should just say Revolution or Rampage.
And then I was like, somebody probably already has that. And then
I'm just tired of his name. And then
we went to Ballroom Boogie,
which was fun. I thought that was like a funny name.
Too comedic. So we hated that. And then Festive Feast. Remember that?
Yeah.
Which I got the name when we were at KFC because there was like a Festive Feast deal, and then
we were eating. Yeah, you saw.
Dude, it'll throw them off. They won't expect it.
Festive Feast.
And then as a joke, it started as a joke, and then you were serious about it. We had Hotel for Horses.
Yeah, I loved it.
Stupid friggin' name.
That name was just
H for H, man. Hotel for Horses. That's a terrible name. Maybe a song, maybe an album, but not a band name. We had the one that probably will stick is the Melon Farmers.
Yeah.
If we do that.
I always like that name.
Because it's the MFers. What was another? We had a bunch of them. We had then we went from alliteration to, well, let's just put the in front of it.
Yeah.
And it was or before that was Black Sheep.
Yeah, Black Sheep.
And then you tried to say Black Sheeps, and I'm like, dude, sheep is the plural form of sheep.
Right.
But he's like, wouldn't that be so rock and roll? Wouldn't that be so metal if we're just like sheeps? We put an S on it. And I was like, no, that's just stupid. And
no, that just shows that we're retarded.
Yeah. So then it went to we had a bunch of...
What was it? The Slackers or something like that?
The Slackers.
And then there was the... something...
There's a lot of dead air.
Freak. The Haze or something like that.
The Haze, yeah. And we liked that one for a while, and you're like, no, it sounds too stoner.
Yeah,
we don't want that image to be the stoners. And I was, the Hazed. It was a D.
I thought it was a cool name, though.
Yeah, then you hated it. And then, so we went from the Hazed to... What? You laughing at our band names? Yeah, you are.
I don't even know. We had a crap ton of band names, and we had no.
They were all
or
so
music at all.
bad. They were terrible names.
Stupid. The Beach Boys were better than
we had one. Zeus was another name we tried.
Zeus.
That didn't work. And then
some other
with this new band, we're actually trying to. We had no people that know instruments. So we're actually trying to form a band. We had Midas. Because everything touches gold, but that's already a band name. So I was like, Dionysus, the god of wine and partying. And then it's like, oh, some other band has it. So I was like, I give up, dude. I'm done trying to make up names.
You think about it, there's going to be bands with the same name.
My personal choice, and I will stick with this the rest of my days, it's Jake Williams and the Freeloaders. That's the name. Jake Williams and the Freeloaders. Or just the Freeloaders. I don't care, but I'm just saying Jake Williams and the Freeloaders. About it.
I like the Freeloaders.
They'll change it. Okay. Briefly talked about Van Halen. I want to go back to it. Favorite Van Halen album?
That's a tough one.
For me, I would probably say the first one. I'd say Van Halen.
I'd say either the...
Yeah, it's like you start thinking of it. There's so many good
people don't like it at all, but I like Diver Down a lot, dude. I loved it. It had a lot of covers and stuff.
Diver,
a lot of blues stuff.
Was that?
It had like.
Was that still with that? Yeah, that was still with David Lee Roth.
Yeah,
right?
That was his 5th album, I believe, right before 1980.
People tend to
right after
they remember him for stuff like, you know. Hot for Teacher and all, and Running with the Devil and so, you know, Feel Your Love, but there's so many solid Van Halen tracks that people just miss out.
I pretty much could just sit down and listen to every song.
I mean, like the one that came out a couple years ago, Different Kind of Truth, wasn't a bad album. Yeah. I didn't really like Tattoo. I don't know why that was their single.
It was just kind of poppy.
It was too to me that was like Van Halen light.
Yeah, but
still, it's the light beer of Van Halen.
Yeah, it was still alright. I mean, the guitar.
Van Halen 64, 64 calories.
I don't know. I just like how there's a certain way Eddie Van Halen plays with David, and there's a certain way he plays with Sammy, and I just love the way he plays with David. It's so like old school and like just rock and roll, like Led Zeppelin style. Like, you know, it's that like old school like. From the 70s.
And that's why I like The Darkness so much. When like I just rediscovered them because I listened to them a little bit back in a while ago, but that's why I like them so much is because their style is so old school and you get like a Queen vibe and things like that.
I love Queen now.
Dude,
I started listening to a lot of their
songs. Telling you, Ashley and I sat down and did this, and I'm telling you, this is a genius idea. But I need to get it in writing when this podcast goes live because somebody might hear it somewhere. We should write and we should work on a musical based on Queen songs because it's all right there for you, man.
It's pretty much
it's laid out, yeah, man. I mean, you got you go with the idea of bicycle race is kind of what builds it in. He's a guy that races bikes, and you have like, oh crap, we had a whole list of good songs to throw in there. That's like the start of it.
His mom or something.
No, like he kills a dude.
Kills somebody.
Maybe it's in the race. He accidentally kills a dude. Bohemian Rhapsody. There you go.
He turns gay. And he's like,
we are the champions when he wins the big race at the end, and show must go on. Then I don't know where we'd fit Killer Queen or Radio. Fat Bottom Girls was
he gets the
was
lady.
he falls in love with this chick that is kind of chunky.
All right.
What'd you say? Oh yeah. He looks at a girl's butt that's ahead of him, and like he falls in love. It's just stupid. And
then he turns gay.
But where would we put radio? Where would we put Radio Gaga?
That's a good song.
All you need is Radio Gaga.
They have so many good songs.
That's what I loved about Queen, because they wrote stories in 3 minutes. Like you can, Bohemian Rhapsody is a full story in 3.5 minutes, and you get your fill. It's like an opera.
It sounds like an opera, like a very, very entertaining play that's going on. You're just like,
If Across the Universe worked, which is a genius idea to use the Beatles as songs for a musical, you could easily, because the Beatles are good. Like they're the same. Their songs are very story oriented and they're going away. So I mean, you could easily do that with Queen. Oh, yeah. So we need to write this. We will just call it Bicycle Race, or I don't know, Bohemian Bicycle Race. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas.
The Queens of Bikes.
But where would we fit Radio Gaga? That's my question. Because I couldn't figure out Bohemian Rhapsody for a while. Where to sit that? Because you can't have a Queen musical and not have Bohemian Rhapsody. It's just.
Yeah, it's just not unheard of.
But there's if you look through their catalog, there's so many songs that would work in a musical and make a musical out of it.
Almost every one of their songs, it seems like.
Every song. But then the movie, I don't know. I would love to do it, so that's cool. Yes, I love Queen. They're a great band. They were a great band. Freddie Mercury. I heard Adam Lambert is actually killing it as their replacement.
Yeah, he's a good singer. It's not like.
And I was listening I was listening to Jericho's podcast, Chris Jericho, and he said that when he did watch them, he said it was awesome, and he goes, Lambert is like a solid replacement for Mercury.
Yeah.
But
I never.
And
really
he made the comment, but it sounds like such a shallow thing to say, but he's like, maybe because he's gay that it just works. I don't know, but he just says it just really works.
I don't know, but what I'm saying, I don't know. That guy has some pipes and he can sing, and he can sing that style of music. He's just amazing. He's really good, and yeah, I don't like his style as much because he's more modern, more metro. But
I thought you were talking about Freddie Mercury. I don't really.
No,
like it. I love Freddie Mercury. I thought you were talking about. You're talking about Adam Lambert.
Yeah, I'm talking about.
Two different people, but.
But yeah, I think he's a good backup for it.
I heard. I was listening to Tom Sawyer today, and I was thinking back, and I was like, I love that song, and I love Rush, and I was like,
I watched their documentary.
You think about is it on Netflix or something?
It's either on Netflix or I just watched it on YouTube.
But, dude, Rush has so many good songs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it was weird because their first 2 albums weren't that successful at all.
But they were
after 2112.
2112, man, that was a great record,
Neil
man.
Peart said that after he released that, it was the album that he knew, he didn't even have to release any more music. He could just live off that one album for the rest of his life. And that was their only really successful right when they released that.
Do you know they're the most successful rock band though? In terms of sales and platinum records and all that, they're the most. But you got Tom Sawyer, you got Limelight, Fly By Night.
They told a story too. They were really
Fly By Night, I'm ready from here.
They were on tour. They were just.
And they're Canadian, so
yeah.
You get that one in Canada.
That was huge.
You got Neil Peart and Geddy Lee. It's just awesome. I'm just naming through the old school bands that we liked listening to when we were growing up. There was AC/DC where they were.
I mean, their new album's not even that bad.
I haven't listened to that. A lot of people hated Black Ice. I didn't mind Black Ice.
I loved Black Ice. I thought it was cool.
I liked Smash and Grab a lot, and Rock and Roll Train's a pretty cool song. I like it. But I'm not going to say that they don't sound like a lot of their music sounds the exact same. I don't care. It kicks ass.
Motley Crue's not the same, but, I mean, they're still out there rocking.
You know Kiss is doing Vegas shows now?
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
So
Kiss was, like, on a thing for a while where they were just doing small venues. Like, that's why they were in Mid-America and stuff.
Yeah.
All they did was just strictly small venues.
Well, it's Gene and Paul, and there's two other guys. There's the two new guys.
I want to say Tommie Thayer or something like that for guitar. And Eric.
Yeah, it's Tommie Thayer.
Eric.
Which Paul Stanley said that he is just amazing.
Yeah,
he said
Eric
Tommie.
Carr is the drummer.
Eric's pretty good too, and he was just talking about how amazing Tommie was. And you know what's funny about what Paul Stanley said? He says that Kiss is going to live on long after he quits and Gene quits. He thinks that somebody else is going to take the mantle of Star Child, and he wants it to be that way because he's like, I don't want... He's kind of... Like, his thing is kind of like the way I look at it, like when... In a comic book, when, like, you see a different Flash for, like, a different generation or something, he kind of wants that. He kind of wants the fact that you don't need Paul Stanley and you don't need Gene Simmons because Kiss as a brand, as a band, is so much bigger than him that somebody else will take it up and do it better. Right. Maybe even better than him.
Right.
Which I think is a cool idea, but it's kind of hard to think of somebody else, like, singing Paul Stanley's songs. Paul Stanley's, like, his vocals are crazy.
I mean, Kiss... Like,
Heaven's on Fire, that beginning, I mean, he hits that note at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it kind of just sets the tone. Like, as soon as you hear that, you're like, this is gonna be a kick-ass song. I'm gonna love this song.
And they were so simple. I look at you in my blood, boy.
And then like he said, like the Beatles were a big inspiration. And if you pay close attention to like the way Kiss, like
the way they construct their songs.
Well, not that, and yeah, obviously, and then. Like, there's pictures of four faces, and they wanted to make it four people because the Beatles were those four, or those four, you know, things like that.
They like music, yeah.
And they finally got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year, so.
Finally, there was a huge dispute.
Well, Deep Purple's not even in yet.
Yeah, there's so many disputes about certain bands not being in it, and certain bands being in it before, you know, the bands.
And Deep Purple and all that.
Yeah. I mean, Deep Purple... Yeah.
Did you see Motley Crue recently?
Yeah, they were good.
How was that?
It was actually a very good show. It was a lot better than their other ones.
So who replaced Mick Mars?
Mick Mars is still up there.
I thought he had to. I thought he had to retire because he had like arthritis or something.
They've taken time off a bunch of different times and stuff.
Well, I think they're still touring right now.
Yeah, he has like full bone like. Disease, like some disease with his bone.
Like it messes.
Like he's
I thought
a skeleton. Like, he doesn't move during the concert, but he's still.
I was thinking about Motley Crue today because they were talking about the Heroin Diaries, and I really want to read that book.
I do too. I really do too. I read.
Which reminds me, I need to steal that Peter Criss book from you.
Oh, I gave it back to John just a little ago.
I knew it was in there.
I read that. Peter Criss's, and then I read STP's is really good.
I want to read Billy Idol's book.
That'd be
and Paul Stanley has a book too.
Paul Stanley does.
If you are a rock star, you gotta have a book.
Yeah, I'd like to read all the Kisses and see if like all of them aren't just a bunch of nutcases or if they're.
Well, that's what scares me. Like if I ever wanted to pursue a career in music, it's like those books are kind of like Scared Straight programs.
Yeah.
Because like when I was reading it, while you were reading it, I would sneak in and read parts of it and read past you and like wait for you to read it. And like the part where he's talking about hanging out with, it was Peter Criss's book that we were reading, and when he's talking about hanging out with Ace Frehley, and Ace came into the gym when they're at the gym and just like opens up his gym bag and he's got Quaaludes, and they take some Quaaludes and they're playing racquetball and they're like face down
on the floor,
and he's like, "Hey, dude, let's go in the sun." And he goes, "Are you crazy? If we go in there, we're gonna die.
Yeah,
like
we're
gonna
suffocate if you don't get."
And then
like if
and then like it's just funny because like a couple pages later, like maybe 10 pages later, he's talking about doing a mountain of coke and wanting to kill himself and
having a gun to his head and stuff like that,
and then fighting the cops and the helicopters and stuff like that, and that just
His house.
It's just crazy, and
an earthquake, and his whole house was destroyed, and he was sitting there the whole time, and
but if
he was sitting there with a gun in his hand, and I was like, Jesus, guy is
gonna kill himself, and it's just crazy. But he's been like through 3 marriages and crazy stuff, man. That's why it's scary. And then, but a friend that did read the Heroin Diaries was telling me that his routine was do so much coke that he would like throw up in his jacuzzi, then take a lot of heroin, and then sit in a closet. Part of me thinks I should never do music because that's just like if I get caught up in that, no, thank you. I don't want any of that.
Yeah, there's some. Well,
I mean,
I just don't ever see myself.
I don't think I would. No way.
There's no way I could.
No way I would ever do that.
I'm freaked out by needles as is, dude. Seriously, I freaking hate them. When I go to the doctors, I have to look away when I get my needle. Whatever, vaccine or whatever.
So you have a vagina?
Yeah, I do.
Just kidding. Syringes never bothered me, but
dude,
the fact that the fact that like. None of that, no, heroin isn't regulated. You don't know if you're going to OD or not when you take it because it's not regulated. It's not,
It's not like, well, this is 10%.
It's just bad news. Don't do it, kids. That's the moral of us talking about rock stars trying to kill themselves. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Just rock. Don't kill yourself.
And if you've learned anything from this podcast, we really like Kiss, we really like Rush, we really like Van Halen and AC/DC, all these older bands. If I could go back in time to, like, late 60s, like 68, 69, I would totally do it. If I could be my parents, I would.
Oh, yeah. I would. In a heartbeat.
Because I was listening to the Bee Gees today, and I was thinking, I wish I could have been there for the birth and very quick death of disco.
Yeah, right. Even Kiss was a part of disco.
I Was Made for Loving You? I love that song!
I was like, I like this song, but what in the world are they doing? Like... They look stupid doing disco with that kind of...
And then again, that was just them trying to expand a brand. Yeah. I mean, that's just what it is. I love how we went to talk about Van Halen and we ended up talking about Kiss. It's just this is how it goes. So, some things to kind of throw at you. Rapid fire, not really, but some little lightning round questions. And by lightning round, I mean as fast as I want it to be. What is your favorite color? Go. Nail me.
Green.
Favorite movie?
I don't have one. Sorry.
What a weak answer.
Oh, well, I'll give you one then. My favorite movie...
Gun to your head. I'm going to kill you if you don't give me a favorite movie. Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Solid choice. Favorite sports team? NFL.
Oakland Raiders, which is
I know this, but they don't know that.
It's sad.
It's very sad. I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, dude. I feel your pain.
Right.
But, maybe we'll get... number 1 pick, maybe.
We'll get another.
If Lovie Smith can't save us, no one can.
It's kind of what I said, honestly. But anyway,
so bleak. So bleak. Well, like I was saying that earlier, I was like, I picked the Buccaneers, like, because they were so terrible, and they have, like, the record for worst record ever in the NFL. I picked them as a favorite team because I was going to laugh in everybody's face when they won a Super Bowl. They did that, and I'm kind of waiting for them to do it again. It's been a long 12 years.
Yeah, they kind of crapped all over Raiders' dreams, and ever since, it's been pretty...
It's been a downward spiral for both teams after Super Bowl 37.
Yeah.
It's just been terrible.
It's like, these two teams can never be back here again.
Not 37. Was it? It was in the 30s.
I think it's 37 or 38.
Yeah, I think it was 38.
Yeah, I think it was an even number, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it's been a long 12 years for the both of us. At least the Buccaneers haven't hired and fired as many coaches as...
Yeah, I mean, in 9 years, how many different people have been in that organization?
And then Al Davis died, and you're like, hey, maybe things will be different.
Yeah. No, his son's here. I forgot about that.
What happened to Dallas? When they're 11-4, man. As we're recording this.
Tony Romo's back surgery is like, he must be
I was telling Luke,
alien.
I was like, don't get excited. Romo will blow it.
He'll
find a way.
He'll burst in the freaking...
They never get past the first round anymore. But, so, Raiders, basketball, Celtics, right?
Yeah.
I picked the Raptors because they're dinosaurs.
Which is
that shows you how much... They're actually pretty good now.
That shows you how much you care about basketball.
Yeah. They're actually doing well this season.
Really?
Yeah.
They got a couple big
They got
guys.
a new logo that looks stupid. I was like, stick with the dinosaur.
Really?
I
like their Raptor.
Favorite baseball team, obviously the Royals.
Yeah.
Which broke my heart, man. I was really pulling for them to win the series.
But they had so much fire, man.
They should have won, man. Their defense was, like, leading up to that game, momentum. Their defense was crazy good. 8 straight wins like that.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was a tough haul. This went a lot longer than I expected it to.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fun. That's why I like it, because it's organic. I like it. Let's be honest, I wasn't going to expect, like, a 20-minute conversation with you. You're Tommie Knapp.
I like to keep it simple.
You're my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how cheesy my show is. Now we're just rambling. You got any questions for me, man? Throw them at me right now.
All right.
That's how we're doing it. We're reversing the show.
How many people?
It's the interview inside the interview. It's Inception.
How many people have you interviewed so far, like, in counting?
Counting your dad?
Just everybody you've interviewed.
Let's see, there's you, there's your dad, there's Xavier, there's Adam, Luke, Andrew. 6 people so far. So,
not too bad.
Still in the second trimester of this bad boy. I feel like
you're putting a lot of time
I can get up like 10, 12, and then I can get into the third trimester and birth something great. Pregnancy jokes.
Pregnancy jokes.
On that note, I think we're going to kind of wrap it up. Tommie, thank you so much. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Luke in on this and have an even more elaborate, crazy conversation about rock music.
We would be on 16 different subjects at once.
Oh yeah, there'd be no order.
Yeah.
And if I got your dad to do it, whew.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
I like that.
Actually, one more thing. Now that I think about it. What are your, give me some quick fire stuff. What are your college football playoff coming up in January? Throw it at me. Oregon, Florida State. Who's going to win that one?
I think Oregon is going to come out on top. Because, I mean, Florida State, it's like
they can't lose.
Story. They can't lose, but they can. That's the thing. They totally can.
That's like your dad said, but have they? No. Not since 2012, man.
Yeah, but they are so
beatable. I understand that,
like,
but
it's disgusting how beatable they are.
You know, it's disgusting the fact that how beatable they have been all season, but they're not nervous, they're not afraid, they believe. It
just makes me mad because it's like, well, look at, I know this is just me being a Husker fan, but when Nebraska was having that kind of a record, nobody was even coming close to beating them in those, that streak.
Yeah.
This streak, they're winning by a field goal
2
every
points,
freaking week
points,
against Utah State and Buckwheat State. But I don't know. I just see Oregon. If Oregon comes out and they score right off the bat, I say Oregon they end up winning it by like two touchdowns. I bet.
All right.
But if not, if Florida State can keep Oregon. Like, their defense can keep Oregon in the game or whatever, like, keep themselves in the game, I think Florida State has a really good shot at winning. And Winston just knows how to win.
He hasn't lost a game.
He hasn't.
He's 28-0 as a starter.
Which is crazy. Very good.
So, Alabama, Ohio State.
I want to say Ohio State. Well, I don't even know. I don't even really care about those two teams. I hate them, but I want
Ohio State is definitely the lesser of two.
I want Ohio State, blah blah, because Big Ten, kind of, whatever.
I hate the SEC.
But yeah, SEC, I hate them, and I hate Alabama because they're just Alabama, and they're racist. But I don't know. I'm just tired of Alabama, and I don't think. I just don't want him to be that coach that everybody talks about for 20 years.
Well, he's on pace. If he wins this year, he's on pace to being the next Paul Bear Bryant.
That's what I'm saying.
On any level. So, give me a pick here. I didn't hear a pick.
Oh, for national or
Ohio State, Alabama.
I'm gonna go Ohio State just because I want them to win.
All right, so it's Ohio State and Oregon, and I'm guaranteeing. I'm guessing that you're gonna pick Oregon.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oregon on that.
So
I wouldn't mind seeing Ohio
They get the
State
Heisman. They get the national championship. Yeah. It's their year. It's Oregon's year. Again, I'm telling you, man. It's gonna be Florida State. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to my guns. They can't lose. They won't lose. It's gonna be 31. They're gonna hate me more. Anyway, Tommie, thank you so much for doing it.
Word. Thank you.
If you want to get a hold of me on the Twitter, I am at @alumberjake. If you want to get a hold of Tommie, he is at naptime15. Yes, it's a play on Tommie Knapp.
Word.
Otherwise, add me on Facebook. We can be buddies. And I'm at Jacob.
Friends, I can follow you.
Jacob Anthony Williams, and he's Tommie Knapp. If you think he's cool after you hear this, if not, I totally understand. Anyway, Tommie, always a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, and that is all I have